Hello and welcome to this webinar regarding Easy365Manager. My name is Jonas, and I'm joined here with Morten from Easy365Manager. Thanks for joining, Morten.
Thanks for having me, Jonas.
No problem. First of all, let me just start by asking, what is Easy365Manager?
Easy365Manager is basically a tool that consolidates your Active Directory and your Office 365 management.
Okay, but what's the point of this?
The point of that is to remove some of the hassle that the Office 365 admins are experiencing. So when they've migrated all of their mailboxes to Exchange Online, but they still have on-premises Active Directory to manage, then you're basically using the standard tools. You're stuck with your AD users and computers tool to manage all of your Active Directory. And then you have multiple web consoles where you constantly have to log in to manage licenses, mailbox properties, and etc. And it's what we hear from our clients is that it's super annoying to work with these standard tools.
Okay, so you're telling me with Easy365Manager you can work from just one tool, one console? Is that correct?
That's right. That's right. You can. Well, Easy365Manager just pulls everything together, and you just work from this single intuitive interface, and you don't have to constantly find out where you need to go to manage this attribute or that attribute, because everything takes place in a single intuitive interface.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. But I have another problem. That is, I don't like new tools. I have a lot of tools already. I have to learn them. I have to manage them. I don't like adopting new tools, and my colleagues certainly doesn't like I introduce new tools for them, even though it makes something else better, because it's something you have to learn each time. And the older you get, the more difficult it is to learn new tools, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
well, we are actually steered out of this because instead of launching a completely new interface that you have to learn, it makes it very hard to implement it in your organization. Then instead of doing that, we created a plugin for Active Directory users and computers. So the AD users and computers tool, it's been around for more than 2 decades now. Everybody knows it, and the interface, it's just it didn't pretty much, there wasn't changed a comma since it was launched. Everybody loves working with this interface. As I said, it's super intuitive, and so we just build on that. So you don't have to learn anything new. You just continue working with AD users and computers.
Okay, that's nice. I know that AD users and computers, the tool is for my on-prem AD, and it manages stuff in my on-prem AD. But I also know it doesn't manage anything in Office 365. Isn't that right?
That's correct, yeah. But when you install Easy365Manager, you have the extension that enables you to work with Office 365. And basically, what you'll see after you install the tool, when you open up user properties, then you have the basic standard tabs, but then you also have 2 new tabs. An Office 365 tab where you can manage licenses, email addresses, etc. And then you have a mailbox tab where you can manage all the properties of your Exchange Online mailbox.
Nice. But how does the tool get access to Office 365?
Well, I think maybe it's better to see it firsthand. So I'm going to fire up a demo, and we can maybe you have some questions when you see there. So let me just fire it up.
Yeah, perfect. I love demos.
Okay, as you see, Jonas, to get started with the demo, you go to the Easy365Manager.com webpage, click on download, fill out the form, make sure to get the tenant name because your license will be tied to your tenant name, and then you click on the 30-day trial, and here you see a download link where you can install the installer. It's just a quite tiny installation file.
Okay, cool.
So I'm just gonna run the installer. As you see, I'm on a Windows 10 machine and I have 80 users and computers installed, but that's basically the only prerequisite there is. So you don't need to install this to your domain controller or a server. You can just install it to any machine that has 80 users and computers installed.
Okay, nice. But what components comes with the installer? Is there an agent, or does it modify my AD schema? I wouldn't like that.
No, It's just a small, very, very thin piece of software. It's a DLL extension to your AD Users and Computers tool. So it's only running when you start up the AD Users and Computers tool. There's no agent or any service or anything that you need to configure. Also, you don't need to make any schema change or will make any kind of change to your infrastructure.
Okay, that's nice.
So with Easy365Manager installed, when you open up any user properties, you'll notice that you have two new tabs, an Office 365 tab and a Mailbox tab. And when you click either of these on the first run, you'll be prompted to perform the authentication. You need to authenticate to the Microsoft Graph, and you need to authenticate to Exchange Online. And that's how the tool is able to grab the information from Office 365.
Okay, how nice. But does this mean I have to do this authentication every time I start the tool?
Well, fortunately not, because once as you can see, we use modern authentication, and once the authentication completes, Easy365Manager will receive an access token, and that access token is what is used going forward, and it is cached and encrypted on in your local user profile on your Windows system.
Okay. Okay, how nice.
So now that the authentication is taken care of, you'll see that the Office 365 licensing information has been loaded. So you can see all the types of licenses that you have in your organization, and you can see how many are consumed, how many are available. And then you can see for the individual user what license and what license plans or service plans are assigned to the particular user. And in this case, with this user, you'll notice that the Exchange Online license is assigned. So that means that the user has an Exchange Online mailbox.
Okay, that's very nice, very nice. Okay, and about the synchronize AD with Office 365 tick box, is that some kind of a special engine you built for this tool, or
nope,
how does that work?
It's what this small button does is that you're able to initiate a remote synchronization of your Azure AD Connect server. So Easy365Manager, it doesn't include any custom-made synchronization or custom-made security or anything like that. It just builds on the existing infrastructure. So what happens here if you tick the checkbox and click Apply? Easy365Manager will initiate a remote PowerShell session to your Azure AD Connect server and trigger a synchronization, which is very useful if you make changes to your AD properties and you want to see the changes quickly in Office 365.
Okay, so that is what I normally use PowerShell commandlets for.
Exactly.
And update. Okay. Great. That's just a tick box. Perfect. How about the other tab, the mailbox tab?
Yep. So the user has an Exchange Online mailbox. And when we look at the mailbox tab, you'll notice that you can see all types of properties of your Exchange Online mailbox. You can see the type, and you can easily switch it if you want to. You can see your email, your alias, which you can change. You can hide or unhide from your address lists. You can configure delivery options. You can configure delivery restrictions. You can set up mailbox delegation, which is super useful if you have a shared mailbox. You can see and configure the archive. You can see usage and quotas. And then finally, you can view and modify your calendar permissions. And that is something that is normally only available with if you use Microsoft standard tools. It's only available via PowerShell, and it's actually a little bit complicated, the PowerShell interface to the calendar permissions.
Yeah, it's a real pain to do that in PowerShell. I know that one. That's not good. Okay, great. And let's say I want to add another email alias for this user, but can I also do that from this tool?
Yeah, from the Office 365 tab, we have proxy addresses available, and here you can see the current email aliases. You can see which one is the primary, and you can easily delete existing ones, or you can add new ones. So that's super easy. You can also see the remote routing address or the target address if you want. So everything can be configured here, and it's like you know it from your on-premise Exchange server that the values that you enter here, they are checked for correct syntax and they are checked for uniqueness across your Active Directory. Many admins, they use the proxy addresses attribute edited directly with etc edit or with the advanced view in AD users and computers. If you edit it directly, there's no sanity check at all on the values that you enter. So it's very useful that what we have is that you have some sort of check that the values you enter are not going to mess up your mail delivery.
No, that's very cool. That's nice. But let's say if I want to change, let's say the license of like 20 users or something, is that possible?
It's very much possible, yeah. It's not something you can do well with the standard tools, but with Easy365Manager, you can select any number of users, and you will still be able to configure a lot of the attributes. For example, the license, where you can assign whatever you want to assign to this number of users. You will notice that the proxy addresses tab or the button is grayed out because it doesn't make any sense to configure the same email address on a lot of different users. But but most of the attributes they are available for configuration. Like you can switch the mailbox type for any number of users or mailboxes. You can configure mailbox delegations. So if you want to give a particular user access to 20 different shared mailboxes, you can do that in one go.
That's very nice. Very nice. How about we have a lot of contacts in our on-prem AD that we often have to change and do some maintenance on. Is that supported as well?
Easy365Manager, it also supports contacts, and you'll notice that by opening up a contact, you can see there is an Office 365 tab. And in here, if the contact is not mail enabled, then you can mail enable it with a special button. And also you can configure the alias, configure the proxy addresses, and when you've made your changes, you can also do a synchronization from here like you can from the user properties. So yeah, we have full support for contacts, and you'll notice the same thing for groups. So if you go to any of the groups, you can mail enable it, or in this case, the group is already mail enabled. You can configure the email aliases and the addresses, set up group delegation, etc.
Okay, very nice. Very nice. Okay, but just to go back to the to one of the things around credentials against the Office 365. You mentioned that you're using credentials inside the tool per user, but how about I have a management server that I share with a lot of other admins. Will they share the same authentication, the same credentials against Office 365, or how does that work?
They will need to authenticate individually, and that's following Microsoft best practices that everybody should be working with individual credentials. So when you authenticate with Office 365, you're doing that being logged in on your Windows system, and the token that's received, it's stored safely and encrypted in your Windows profile. So it's not accessible for any other admins on the system.
Okay, very good, very nice, very nice. All right, thank you for the demo, Morten. But just before I'm letting you go from this demo, I will just test you on something. You know, every company has a process for onboarding people and offboarding people, and especially the offboarding process can be kind of hard or difficult for companies from time to time. So let's say if we want to offboard a user can I use Easy365Manager for this?
You can definitely use Easy365Manager. So let me just pull up this slide. As you see, I'm not very surprised by your question because I already have prepared a slide for you. But this example, user decommissioning, the process can vary from company to company, but these are sort of the basic steps that we see a lot of companies use when users leave the company. You will disable the user account in Active Directory. You will convert it, the Exchange Online mailbox, to a shared mailbox. You'll hide the user from the address list. You'll configure probably configure mail forwarding to either a manager or a replacement employee. You want to delegate access to the same person. Then you would like to probably synchronize your Active Directory changes, such as disabling of the user account. You want to synchronize that to Azure AD so that it's quickly disabled also in that environment. And then finally, you'll want to reclaim the Office 365 license. And as you can see in this slide, if you use the standard tools, that will take you on a big tour of various Microsoft admin tools. You'll be looking into AD users and computers. You'll have to log into your Exchange Online Admin Center. You'll have to log into your Exchange on premises. You'll need to start up PowerShell and run commands there. And then you'll need to log into the Office 365 Admin Center to manage and reclaim the licenses. And all of that stuff, you can simply do it from Easy365Manager directly from user properties without having to switch around.
Oh, that sounds nice. That sounds nice.
So if you don't take my word for it, I'm just gonna
please show that to me. I will just
do a quick demo of that.
Yeah.
So
just make sure it can be done.
Yeah, we have a typical user here, and first thing we want to do, the user left the company. We're going to disable the account. Then we're gonna change the mailbox type to a shared mailbox. We're gonna hide him from the address list. We're gonna set up forwarding to a manager. We're going to delegate the mailbox to the same user. We're gonna synchronize our changes and apply them. And once that has been written to Azure AD, we're going to reclaim the license. And that's it. So as you see, what would have required you to log into a lot of various consoles, start up PowerShell, remote sessions here and there, everything done within a minute from the user properties in Active Directory users and computers.
Oh, that's nice. That's super fast compared to what we normally do. Super intuitive as well.
Great. Glad you could see the benefit.
Yeah, all right. Morten, thank you for the demo. That was very good.
Most welcome.
I just have one final question. If everything is managed from Easy365Manager, from this particular one tool, do I really need to have an on-prem Exchange server as well?
Depends on what you're using your on-premises Exchange server for, but if you have eliminated the mail flow and if you're doing all of your management with Easy365Manager, then basically you can remove it. It's a subject of great debate among admins if you can do it or not. But we see a lot of our clients actually work completely without Exchange on premises. And it's a huge benefit to remove it because, it's a big chunk of hardware or VM. It may come with third-party licenses that you need for backup and antivirus, etc. So, and the power to run it, and that's only the direct costs of it. You need to have the troubleshooting, the patching, constant patching of the machine. But then you have also the big risk of running Exchange on premises because, as you're probably well aware of, that during the last couple of years we've seen a lot of zero-day exploits targeting specifically Exchange on premises.
That's right.
So if you get hit by any of that, as a minimum, you will need to spend a lot of time reviewing if you were hit, cleaning it up if you were hit, and if you actually get hit and by ransomware or foreign states are able to pull intellectual information out of your company, the cost could be much higher.
Yeah, that's a pain in any way. That's totally a pain. Glad that I'm happy that I can get rid of that pain. I would like that very much. I understand why that is a subject to the discussion out there. So, but that's very good information. Thanks a lot. And just before I let you go, I can just run on my Windows 10 PC. That's That's correct.
That's right. Yeah, you just download the demo. It's 30 days. It's fully functional. Installed
great.
on your So have a take your Windows 10 PC. Make sure you have 80 users and computers installed to it. Then install Easy365 Manager on top of that, and start playing around with it. And hopefully you'll see some of the benefits that we came around in this demo. And whatever changes you make, it's going to end up looking exactly as if you were using the standard tools. So there's not really any danger doing it, or you will not end up in some weird setup. Because if you decide, before the demo expires, or if you decide at a later point you want to stop using Easy365 Manager, you'll just be back to your good old scenario where you need to log into loads of various tools and spend 10 times the amount of time to change stuff. But you can do that.
Great. Perfect. Thank you for the information. It looks like a super great tool. Can't wait to show this to the helpless guys. Once again, thank you, Morten. Thanks for the demo, and thank you guys for watching.
Cool.
That's perfect. Thank you. Talk to you.
Bye.
Bye.